What up, YouTube links? Coming back at you with another custom Scion Races cast spawning. On the top right-hand side of the map, it's our orange Xayid player Quoror going up against his opponent. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's our red Genetron player Cognite. Both very skilled players, and I'm excited to be casting this one today. Y'all, it's been a long day. I have a full 2 weeks straight of work coming up, so I've been recording literally all day. I don't know how my voice is still with me, but we're not going to question it, and we're going to keep casting some StarCraft 2. If you're new to my channel, I do cast a lot of custom Scion Races content, custom StarCraft 2 content to be specific. So if that's something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Now back to the show. We have scouts coming out for both players. Quoror throwing down an expansion which does get spotted by Cognite. Cognite deciding he's seen what he needs to see and running back home. And we have a scavenger, I was going to say in a sketchy location, but maybe Quoror's just leaving this to keep the scouting information handy. He does see that there is an expansion coming down for Cognite as well. This kind of foreshadows some potential macro play, but it also doesn't rule out any sort of two-base all-ins. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is if you're new to this channel and you have no idea what's going on, you're looking at these races like, what the hell, am I in the Twilight Zone? Rest assured, you're not in the Twilight Zone, but you may as well be. This is the custom Scion Races mod. This mod adds 3 new playable races to the StarCraft universe. It's a super sick mod, and I highly recommend you guys check it out when you get the chance. I know there was some issues with the StarCraft arcade, and I also had some issues with it as well. I couldn't cast any games from the previous patches, so I was stuck doing other content, but we're back. We're casting some StarCraft 2 games. This is from the latest patch as far as I know. We have the natural base expansion finishing up for Quoror as well as finished up for Cognite as well. Both of these players are just chilling, killing the rocks. Both of them actually are killing the rocks. These Xayidlings already killing the rocks. Now the Xayidling is a ground-only attacker. So it's not like the Zergling in the sense that it's melee only, but it is the Zergling equivalent for the Xayid. So this thing has a short-range ground-to-ground attack, and it's a relatively decent unit. And we have what is also the processor, one of my favorite units for the Genetron. This is like a high-speed uncloaked observer, so this is going to get some tremendous scouting for Cognite, and it's so difficult to kill because it is so fast. He will see the Casnalisk Den, he sees the mutagen chamber, and he sees the 2 Xayid dens as well. We have the Scorpilisks coming out, at least one Scorpilisk out on the field, and we have what are going to be 2 more workers on the way. The workers are scavengers. They may look like drones, but no, they are not drones. And I wonder how long Cognite's going to have this processor flying around the enemy base. That's hilarious. And one thing I also should mention, now that we're looking at it, is we have these feeding pools here. These are like the supply depot equivalents for the Xayid, and they also heal up to 3 units at a time in this radius, which is about, I want to say, a pylon's worth of distance around these feeding pools. So both players playing a relatively chill match so far. We do have a 3rd base coming down for Cognite. The worker supply is relatively even. Slight lead for Quoror. It's 40 workers to 37. Army supply is 20 to 17. So Quoror is ahead in both army and worker supply just slightly. But with this 3rd expansion coming down and no 3rd expansion coming down for Quoror just yet, that may change in the later part of this game. Quoror moving in, able to attack that processor, but not quite able to kill it. The Mendling. Now, the Mendling is a really cool unit. This is like the medic equivalent for the Xayid, but it also has anti-air and anti-ground attack. And what is this Mendling doing? This Mendling is going off his own way. You know what? We should give him a name. What should we name this guy? I feel like I've already used Steve. Let's give him... Okay, you know what? Rick. This guy's name is Rick. Let's see how long he lasts. I really hope he survives. Rick, what are you doing, my guy? Look at him running with a mission getting blocked by the golden minerals. So, you know what? I think he's safe for the time being, but it looks like Quoror is going to be going for some sort of aggression right now. He also has a third base coming down of his own. Worker supply is now 46 to 45, only a very slight lead for Cognite. It looks like this processing core, the command center equivalent for the Genetron, just finished up, but now we have what is going to be an engagement at the natural base location for the red Genetron player, but this looks like too much for our orange Xayid player to handle. We do have the mole, which is basically like a siege tank for the Genetron, burrowing just at the ramp of the main base. We have the fixers as well. These are the medics. These are the medics of the Genetron. So we have the fixers for the Genetron, and we have the mendlings for the Xayid, and we have this processing core right here, or sorry, this processor right here, chilling in a really sneaky location, and sees that there are some feeding pools right here. So if he didn't already scout the third base, he could conclude that there's likely a third base. And Rick, my guy, he's still alive, just chilling chilling at the gold minerals. So he must be using that mendling to spot that side of the map. For whatever reason, that processor does ultimately go down. The mendling, what a crazy unit. And here we go, we also have the Farian. So the Farian is not only a detector unit, but it's also a drop ship unit. I almost said drop shit. I don't know why. It drops shit on your enemy. It's fine. It makes sense. It makes sense in my head. And there we go. The Mendling doing his job. Rick doing his job, spotting this, and actually able to destroy that repulsor before it gets canceled. Able to kill the worker as well. I don't think this process. Okay, it looks like they paused for a second. I thought there was going to be some banter about Rick. Rick, no, he died. He survived for at least, I want to say, 3 or 4 minutes, though. So, you know what? The subplot is over. The subplot is over. Rick has gone down, but maybe Rick will have some sort of redemption. Maybe one unit will continue to do the solo scouting in his name. And we have the ACR also moving around, likely to go ahead and start mining off this base. And now, looking at this map, I'm not actually super familiar with these new maps. Now I understand why Rick was there. He was spotting these golden minerals because this is actually a high-yield base, forcing the cancel on that processing core as well. We have a decent unit composition right here. We have the eroders, which is kind of like an anti-armor unit. We have the Scorpulus, which is a melee-only unit, but it literally has venom. Once it attacks a unit, it reduces its movement speed by, I want to say, 30 or 40%. We have the detection unit and the dropship, and we also have two mendlings right now. So this is a relatively decent unit composition. The only thing is, we're not seeing a lot of roamers. Now, the roamer, actually, are we seeing any roamers? I don't think so. Oh, no, here we go. There's a roamer. So the roamer is a really interesting unit. It has this scour ability, which shoots this green ball of, it's not really slime. It almost looks like slime. And then it explodes into map vision for a short period of time. Now, taking a look at what the Genetron player has, I feel like we haven't looked at him in a while. We have the mole, we have the insider, we have a whole lot of fixers, and we have blitzers. What else do we have? I think that's about it. So the mole can be like a portable sensor tower, or it can be like a siege tank. The only thing is, when it's unburrowed like this, it can't do either of those things. So you have to set it to a specific mode for it to do its job. The insider is almost like a mechanical version of a reaper. It can actually fly. Not fly necessarily, but it can jump over cliffs, and it has some splash damage, I think, when it jumps to a unit. The blitzer is just a really good all-around unit for DPS. It shoots both up and down, and here we go. We have an engagement that I don't really think I can tell who's going to win right now, but I think it's in favor of our red Genetron player. Quoror being very cautious, making sure he's not losing too many units, but taking a look at the resources lost tab, it's almost identical, just under 2K for both players. Taking a look at the production, I think this is +2 +2 attack coming up for our Genetron player. Upgrades is 2-2 right now, so it's actually +3 attack for our Genetron player. Oh, man. Okay. And we also have, what is this? We have one Eroder in the main base for the Genetron. Quoror being pushed back to his side of the map. This is a really strong army composition. The Fixers at the back of this army keeping the Genetron units alive, but it looks like Quoror is coming out just slightly ahead and able to keep his side of the map relatively safe. Taking a look at the worker supply, almost even, 72 workers to 68, but army supplies in favor of Cognite. 96 army supply for the red Genetron player to 62 army supply for our orange Xayid player. And man, this mod is so sick. It is so sick. If you guys have not played it before, I highly recommend you guys check it out. It is on the StarCraft arcade, or what you can also do is create a melee game, and then you create with mod. You select whatever map you want, you say create with mod, and then you type in the custom Scion Races Mod in the search bar, and you can basically play with all 3 races. It is so sick. Will the cancel get forced on this? No way. No way. Oh, Quoror just focus. Oh, it was so close. It was so close. Meanwhile, we still have the engagement on Quoror's side of the map, but I think Quoror will be able to push this army back. We also have the Spitters. The Spitters are a super cool unit, which I do not use too often. But out of this tail, they almost look like a Pokemon, right? They have a regular head, I think. Oh, wait, maybe they don't actually. No, they don't. Their head is right here, so this is just their body. What a cool design, but they spit. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's called the Spitter, but it spits this ball of green goo that does splash damage, I believe. And we also have, what is this? We have a strike force of blitzers on the bottom right-hand side of the map. I'm really curious to see what Cognite plans to do with that. And Quoror thinking, you know what? Screw these rocks. These rocks are dumb. And decides to destroy them. And you know what? I have nothing but respect for that. And at the same time, Cognite thinking the same thing. They're taking a break, and they have some beef with rocks. They're like, you know what? Let's take a quick break and destroy the rocks, because you know what? These rocks looked at us funny. They looked at us funny, and we just aren't going to deal with that. Oh, and we have, what are these? I think these are, yep, these are like mines, acid nests, but the thing is, the processor is a detector unit, so they're able to see these acid nests, which I believe are dropped by the Casnalisks, I think. They're either dropped by the Casnalisk or the Spitter, but I'm almost 99% sure it's dropped by the Casnalisk. And meanwhile, we have the strike force of the Blitzers taking out several workers, and at the same time, we did have some units on the bottom left-hand side of the map, and we also have some units on the top left-hand side of the map. There's action everywhere right now. Will this processing core go down? And it doesn't. These ACRs doing so much work to repair this. We have the moles as well in their siege mode. They are going to be doing some tremendous damage, but the orange Xayid army able to survive somehow. But at the same time, the army on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it looks like had to either retreat or did go down. We do have a Massilisk right here, which is like the Ultralisk equivalent for the Xayid, but it is ranged. So it has like a siege mode that increases its range and allows it to attack air units, or it has its regular attack mode, which has, yep, just about that much range. Able to take out that mole is what I think we were looking at, and we have another engagement on the middle left-hand side of the map. Taking a look at the resources lost, still virtually even for both players. Taking a look at the upgrades, we have 3-3-4 for the Genetron, and we have what I want to say is like a 2-1 for the Xayid player, 2-1 with range. So they are a little bit like the Zerg in the sense that you have melee upgrades and you have ranged upgrades, and we have the Tesla's ability. This orb right here creates a field of cloaking just about that much radius, so forcing the Xayid player back outside of that cloaking field, and also losing his army. But we also have the army, the small strike force of Xayid units able to take out, I want to say that was the, what is that, the 5th or 6th base for the Genetron player. Man, this has been a non-stop action-packed game. Where is the processor? We have 2 processors right here. We have 2 acid nests though. But I don't think Cognite has to worry about it. He's beefing with some more rocks right here. But Quoror realizing that there's something going on, and we have the Tesla throwing down that cloaking field once more. We need a ferry, and we need some sort of detection for the Xayid. This Tesla, I've never seen the Tesla used this aggressively. I mean, on paper, it makes sense to use it aggressively with that cloaking ability. That is a really good ability, but I think it just uses a little more micro than people are used to, especially with a custom mod for StarCraft 2. But we have what is going to be a surround on the red Genetron army, forcing Cognite on the retreat. The Tesla trying to do something right here. I mean, these hero blitzers doing some DPS in this cloaking field, but will ultimately get baited out of the cloaking field into the claws of the Xayid. This Tesla is a hero, man. We also have the Vertices. So the Vertis is a tank for the Genetron, which can also heal on the spot. But while it is healing, it cannot do DPS. And now we have 2 Variants. This will get detection for the Xayid player. But we also have some red units just chilling on the Xayid side of the map, on the orange side of the map. And I don't know. I think Cognite's too preoccupied dealing with this army. But the army supply is way in favor of Cognite. 117 to 72. Worker supply, though, is in favor for Quoror, 93 to 64. Taking a look at the workers killed, 38 workers killed by Quoror and 0 killed by Cognite. That's insane. And we have the strike force of Genetron units spotted by the orange Xayid army. The Vertices are really tanky, they're really strong, but this is just not enough. Cognite deciding, you know what, this army's small enough, I can take them, and deciding to push the orange Xayid army into a corner, but we have some reinforcements coming in from the north. Oh man, but I think this might be too much for Quoror to handle. These Vertices doing some tremendous work, but the army was split and actually gave Quoror some time to deal with half of this army, and Cognite going on the potential retreat, but we have the Tesla in the middle of this army throwing down what is a cloaking field in the middle of all of this. And in the meantime, we also have Acid Nest just chilling. What is that? I'm not even counting. Probably the 7th base for the red Genetron player. What a crazy matchup, ladies and gentlemen. This one is a great one to come back to. It's been non-stop. Dude, like I said, I've been recording all day, and I'm surprised my voice is still with me right here. And we have a big engagement in the middle of the map. We have the Tesla throwing down that cloaking field, forcing Quoror to stay in his base. We need a Variant, and there we go. We have 2 Variants able to detect through this cloaking field and forcing Cognite on the retreat. And these Acid Nests doing nothing right now, just serving as some scouting for Quoror. So I guess they're not technically doing nothing, but it is what it is. Army supplies evened out. It's now 88 army supply to 76. Slight lead for Cognite, but based on what we were seeing earlier, not nearly as much of a gap as there was. Both of these players playing a really intense game. I'll be totally candid with you guys. If it was me, if I were playing against either of these players, I think I would have lost at the 6-minute mark. Not even exaggerating. Now we got another scavenger nest coming down. Both players taking their respective territories. But this is a big, scary army for the red Genetron player. It's been non-stop, and I love the skin on this Vertis. It looks like a war machine, dude. I mean, it is, but it looks extra like a war machine. But both of these players may be catching themselves out of position, but never mind. Cognite catching... Actually, Quoror catching Cognite out of position. We have what is going to be a huge surround. Where are the Variants, though? We need detection right here. This Tesla doing so much work. jumping into its own cloaking field, but getting pulled out just a little bit, and Cognite losing the entirety of his army. That was a huge pickup for Quoror. Taking a look at the resources lost, 33,000 resources lost to 29,000, so relatively even for both players. And is this processing core gonna get canceled? I would cancel it. I think I would cancel it, but no, it finishes. It finishes. Cognite, are you going to be able to save this? He's throwing in the repair, but no, not enough repair on those ACRs. That processing core does go down. And we have a slowing field, I think. What was that from? I actually don't know what that was from. Well, that was a really interesting ability. I have to look that one up, but Quoror on the retreat now, but not after taking out a base. Not after taking out a base for the red Genetron player. Is that from the... No, is it from the Aquila? I think it must be the Aquila throwing that ability down. But now we have what is Cognite in the middle of the orange side of the map. At the same time, we have an engagement at the top left-hand side of the map, but I don't think this is enough for Cognite. And, I mean, the Aquilas are really, really good, but we have the Xayidlings as well, forcing the red to retreat. What I think I would have done was keep pushing, and there he goes, Quoror, listening to me through time. And look at how much damage these spitters are doing. That's actually insane. At the same time, we have more orange units going to the red side of the map, destroying red Genetron units at the same time. And now suddenly it's looking really scary for Cognite, but Cognite, he is still very much in this game. I mean, it's 42 army supply to 82, so a double army supply lead for the orange Xayid player, but this doesn't necessarily mean he can't come back. He does have a decent economy. I mean, I guess not. Never mind, I wasn't looking. He's got 40 workers to 100, so 66 workers killed by the orange Xayid player. I'm just really confident in Cognite's micro abilities. I feel like he's still in this game just because he's such a strong player, but we have orange Xayid units playing a lot like the Zerg. It's a swarm, man. This is non-stop. The Tesla's throwing out one of these abilities. I can't remember what this is called, but it does damage over time. Every time you see that loading bar go down, it does damage. And man, this processing core in serious danger. We have 3 hero SCRs repairing this on the back of all the chaos. The blitz are going down. Now we have a bunch of fixers. Fixers do damage, so this is a lot of fixers. We also have the moles. We have 2 more Teslas on the top right-hand side of the map, and Quoror actually on the retreat for now, but he's not retreating. He's just walking back to his reinforcements. And then we also have Cognite stealing minerals from Quoror's base, but technically, you know what? I don't know. I think that's a no man's land base. I think that could be anybody's, but it's more on Quoror's side of the map. I just think it's hilarious that he's mining off of it. And these fixers doing their best to try and hold off this orange Xayid army, but they ultimately go down. The chaos at the bottom of the map is wild. We also have the Badgers, which do insane air-to-ground damage. This is basically the capital ship for the Genetron. We'll see. They also have this shell ability, which increases their durability by quite a bit. And Quoror, now on the retreat, may decide to let this base go. Army supply is still in favor of Quoror. It's 93 army supply to 46. Taking a look at the workers killed, 84 workers killed to 1. This entire game, Cognite was only able to kill 1 worker. In hindsight, maybe he should have tried to do some sort of economical damage in the early to mid game, especially after losing this many workers. That is brutal, but despite all of that, Cognite is still putting up a tremendous fight. Now we have more variants, which will be able to see through this cloaking field from the Tesla. 1 Badger goes down. Will the 2nd Badger go down? Yes, it does. Cognite throwing out the GG, giving the victory to Quoror. What an action-packed custom Scion Races game. That was an insane one, man. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.